She jumped into the arms of a stranger because of a cockroach, not knowing he was a millionaire who would fall in love with her. Before we start the story, leave a comment with the city you're watching from. And at the end, don't forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story. Help! There's a monster here! Luna screamed, and in a desperate impulse for survival, or maybe sheer embarrassment, she jumped into the lap of the first customer sitting nearby. That isn't a normal cockroach. It's a mutant. Everyone followed her gaze, and there it was, a small harmless cockroach, bold antennas waving, walking across the floor with the confidence of someone who paid the rent for the place. And the man who had been holding a cup of coffee was now holding Luna, literally, in his lap. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, it had wings. I swear it spread its wings and it was huge. The man, elegant, only raised an eyebrow. It's all right, he said with a calm smile. Do you usually do this with all the customers, or am I today's lucky one? Only with the ones who look like they won't scream louder than me, Luna replied, still clinging to his neck as if it were her lifeboat. And, sorry, am I shaking, or is it you? I think it's both of us, but I promise it's not because of the roach. For a second, their eyes met. A silence appeared in the middle of the chaos, and then someone shouted, "It's climbing on the sugar! Help, it's heading for the butter! Why is this happening today of all days?" cried the cook, sticking her head out of the kitchen window. Still in the stranger's lap, Luna pointed. "It's going for the croissant! Someone kill it!" "I can try," said the man with a hint of amusement, gently setting Luna down on the floor. He picked up a newspaper from the table, stood up with a calmness that irritated everyone, and smack! Silence. Everyone looked at him as if he had just saved the city from an apocalypse. "There. The threat has been neutralized," he said, looking at Luna. "Wow," she blinked. "You just won over half the female customers, and I hope I didn't lose the other half for smashing a bug in public." Luna laughed, still red with embarrassment. "I'm really sorry for all of this. I don't usually jump into strangers' laps." "That's a shame," he smiled, "because this was the best coffee I've had in years." She blushed even more. "What's your name?" he asked before finishing his last sip of coffee. "Luna. Luna Martinez." "Nice to meet you, Luna." He didn't say anything else, not even his name. He didn't leave a card. He just smiled, placed some bills on the table, and walked calmly as if he hadn't just been attacked by a panicked waitress. Luna stood still, watching the door swing after he left. "What was that?" exclaimed her coworker at the counter, Leticia, her eyes wide open. "You jumped on the most handsome guy who's ever walked in here." "I jumped because he was in the roach's path, Leticia. Not because of strategy, but it looked like a Netflix rom-com scene. And I look like a complete lunatic," Luna muttered, still trying to fix her hair with her fingers. "He must think I'm a clinical case." "Are you kidding?" He left smiling. "I bet he'll be back tomorrow." Luna let out a deep sigh and went back to work, trying to pretend her heart wasn't beating faster. But every time she thought of his eyes, brown, deep, with that ironic sparkle, a little wave of anxiety stirred in her stomach. Who could he be? She murmured while arranging the glasses. Outside, the city buzzed, and in a luxury car parked discreetly at the corner, Alexander Stone, CEO of Stone Industries, slid his fingers across his phone screen, opening Instagram. He typed, "Luna Martinez, Sunnyside Cafe. Let's see who you are, cockroach girl." And he smiled, as if he had just discovered his new favorite pastime. The next morning, Luna arrived at work humming softly, still with the silly smile of someone who had experienced something special the day before. The mysterious man had occupied her thoughts all night, and she caught herself imagining if he would really come back. "Good morning, everyone," she greeted cheerfully, tying the apron around her waist. But the atmosphere in the cafe felt strange. Leticia looked at her with a worried expression, and the manager, Mr. Morrison, appeared almost immediately from the back office, his face stern. "Luna, I need to talk to you, now." His harsh tone made Luna's stomach churn. She followed him into the small office, cluttered with boxes of supplies and scattered papers. "Sit down," he said, pointing to an old plastic chair. "Did something happen, Mr. Morrison?" "Yes, it did. I got 3 phone calls this morning. 3 customers complaining about your behavior yesterday." Luna felt the blood drain from her face. "My behavior?" "The cockroach incident, Luna." Mrs. Henderson called saying it was an embarrassing and inappropriate scene. Mr. Patterson said he won't come back as long as you're working here, and Mrs. Williams commented that it was a display of unprofessionalism. But I got scared. It was a reflex. You jumped onto a customer's lap, Luna. Mr. Morrison raised his voice. Imagine if he decided to sue the cafe. What if he felt harassed? He didn't seem bothered. It doesn't matter how he seemed. What matters is that 3 of our longest customers are offended. Mrs. Henderson has been coming here for 15 years. Luna felt tears burning in her eyes but tried to keep her composure. Mr. Morrison, I can apologize to them. I can explain it was a misunderstanding that Luna, you're a good employee, but I can't risk losing more customers over this. You're fired. The words hit her like a bucket of cold water. Fired? Because of a cockroach? Because of your inappropriate behavior in a professional situation. I'll pay you for today, but I need you to gather your things. Luna stayed silent for a few seconds, trying to process what was happening. The job at Sunnyside Cafe wasn't a dream job, but it paid her bills. Without it, she wouldn't be able to cover the rent on the small apartment she shared with Sophia, her college roommate. Mr. Morrison, I need this job. I'll do anything to make up for it. I'll work for free this weekend, clean the entire cafe, anything. The decision has been made, Luna. I'm sorry. She stood up on shaky legs, trying to keep her dignity. All right, I'll get my things. Back at the counter, Leticia rushed to her. What did he say? By the look on your face, it wasn't good news. I was fired, Luna whispered, grabbing her things from the staff locker. Because of the cockroach? That's ridiculous. Because of the customers who complained about the embarrassing scene yesterday. Leticia shook her head, outraged. Mrs. Henderson complains about everything, even the color of the sky. And Mr. Patterson never leaves a tip anyway. This is unfair, Luna. Life goes on. Luna sighed, stuffing the last item into her bag. I need to get out of here before I start crying in front of everyone. She gave her friend a quick hug and left the cafe through the back door, feeling the eyes of the other employees on her. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Luna spent hours on her laptop, sending out resumes to every place she could find, but the feeling of despair only grew stronger. The little money she had saved might cover 1 more month of rent, maybe. 2 hours after Luna had left, a familiar figure walked into Sunnyside Cafe. Alexander looked around, searching for the dark-haired waitress who had made his previous day far more interesting. Excuse me, he called to the new waiter, a thin young man of about 20. Is Luna working today? Luna? Oh, you didn't hear? She was fired this morning. Alexander frowned. Fired? Why? Because of that cockroach mess yesterday. Some customers complained, and the boss thought it best to let her go. Alexander felt a pang of guilt. If he hadn't been there, none of it would have happened. Do you have her phone number? I'd like to check if she's all right. The young man hesitated. Look, I can't give out personal information about employees, ex-employees. But you're the guy who killed the cockroach, right? Luna mentioned you. Mentioned what? That you were kind to her, and that she felt embarrassed about the whole thing. Alexander pulled a $50 bill from his wallet. Her number would be very helpful. I just want to make sure she wasn't harmed by something that happened while I was there. The young man looked at the bill, then at Alexander, and quickly scribbled Luna's number on a napkin. Thank you, Alexander said, leaving the cafe with a new mission in mind. 2 days went by. Luna had turned job hunting into an obsession, sending resumes to restaurants, stores, offices, anywhere that was hiring. Sophia tried to cheer her up, but Luna was clearly starting to panic. Maybe you should call your mom, Sophia suggested, stirring instant noodles on the stove. To hear I told you so, you should have studied accounting. No, thank you. The phone rang. Luna looked at the unknown number with suspicion. Hello? Luna Martinez? A professional-sounding female voice asked. Yes, that's me. My name is Sarah Mitchell from the Human Resources Department at Stone Industries. We're offering an administrative assistant position, and your profile caught our attention. Luna blinked, confused. Stone Industries? I don't remember sending a resume to you. Sometimes we receive resumes through referrals from other departments. The position offers a starting salary of $4,500 a month, full health coverage, meal allowance, and performance bonuses. Luna almost dropped the phone. $4,500 was 3 times what she earned at the cafe. Is this real? Completely real. Would you be interested in an interview tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon? Yes. Of course, that would be great. Perfect. The address is 1200 Biscayne Boulevard, 30th floor. Ask for Sarah Mitchell at the reception desk. After she hung up, Luna stood still for a full minute, trying to process what had just happened. "Sophia!" she shouted. "You won't believe this." That evening, Luna searched everything she could about Stone Industries online. It was a huge company, with offices in several cities specializing in investments and urban development. The CEO was Alexander Stone, and he was considered one of the youngest and most successful businessmen in the country. "Wow, this company is massive," she murmured, scrolling through the official website. "How did they even get my resume?" But soon anxiety took over. It was an amazing opportunity, but also frightening. She picked out her best business outfit, a black skirt and blazer she had bought for college graduations, and spent the whole night practicing possible answers for interview questions. "Tomorrow, everything will work out," she whispered to herself, looking at her reflection in the mirror. "It has to." The next day, Luna stopped in front of the Stone Industries building. It was a gleaming glass tower that seemed to touch the clouds, with a lobby that looked more like a five-star hotel. "My goodness," she murmured, adjusting the bag on her shoulder. "What am I doing here?" The receptionist, an elegant woman of about 40, greeted her with a professional smile. "Luna Martinez? Sarah Mitchell is expecting you." The elevator was so quiet that Luna didn't even notice when it reached the 15th floor. Sarah welcomed her warmly and gave her a quick tour of the marketing department. "This will be your workstation," Sarah said, pointing to a modern desk with a state-of-the-art computer. "You'll be supporting the advertising campaign team. Reports, market research, organizing presentations." Luna tried not to look too impressed, but it was hard. The entire Sunnyside Cafe could fit on that floor. "Everyone here is very qualified," Sarah continued. "But I'm sure you'll adjust well." 2 hours later, Luna was trying to understand the company's filing system when she decided to go to the break room for some coffee. In the hallway, she almost bumped into a man carrying a large box. "Excuse me," she said, quickly stepping aside. The man turned, and Luna felt her heart skip a beat. "You!" she exclaimed, pointing at him. "The guy with the cockroach." Alexander smiled, trying not to drop the box. "Hi, Luna. What a crazy coincidence." "You work here?" she asked, still in shock. "I've been working here for a few years," he answered, adjusting the box in his arms. Luna looked at the box. "Oh, so you're the company's box carrier?" she asked naturally. Alexander opened his mouth to reply, then closed it. For a split second, he thought about telling her who he really was. It would be so easy. But looking at Luna, he saw something in her eyes that made him hesitate. She was looking at him as a regular person. Not as the CEO of Stone Industries. Not as a financial target, just as the kind man who had killed a cockroach for her. Yeah, something like that. Box carrier, organizer of things. "Just a simple employee," he said, smiling. "That's nice. I just started today. Marketing assistant. Congratulations on the new job." "Thank you. And thank you again for yesterday, or the day before. You saved my life from that mutant creature. It was my pleasure. Literally." They stood there for a moment, smiling at each other, until Luna remembered where she was. "Well, I should get back to work. First day, you know how it is." "Of course. See you around." When Luna walked away, Alexander stayed in the hallway, watching her disappear. Then he looked at the box in his hands, which actually contained confidential documents he was taking to his office, and chuckled softly. Box carrier. Why not? That night, Alexander called his personal assistant. "Marcus, I need a favor. I want you to find an empty workstation on the 15th floor. Somewhere I can show up from time to time." "Sir? I don't understand." "Let's just say I'm doing some field research on the employee's work environment." "Field research involving a disguise?" "Something like that." Marcus sighed on the other end of the line. "I'll arrange a temporary desk in the supplies department. It's close to marketing." "Perfect." During the following week, Alexander built an entire routine. He arrived early, went up to his office on the 30th floor to deal with urgent matters, then came down to the 15th floor and stayed there carrying boxes, organizing supplies, and watching Luna from a distance. She was amazing. In just 5 days, she had already optimized the team's filing system and suggested improvements for campaign organization. Everyone liked her. She was funny, smart, and worked with an impressive dedication. On Friday, during the coffee break, Luna was in the break room chatting with 2 colleagues. "Ladies, I have a question," Luna said, stirring sugar into her coffee. "Have you ever seen the CEO in person?" "Alexander Stone?" asked Jennifer from the design team. "A few times, from far away. He lives on the 30th floor. "What's he like?" Luna asked, genuinely curious. "He's probably handsome," answered Melissa from planning. "But distant too. Rich since childhood, you know how it is. Probably one of those arrogant businessmen," Luna commented, taking a sip of coffee. "The kind who's never spoken to a regular employee in his life. I bet he doesn't even know how much a coffee costs at the supermarket." Alexander, who was filling a water bottle right behind her, nearly choked. "He's probably full of himself," Luna continued. "These young CEOs are always like that. They think they own the world just because they inherited their dad's company." "Actually," Jennifer said quietly, "I heard he built the company on his own." "Oh, sure. With a little help from a few million from his parents, right?" Luna laughed. "I can't stand people who think they did everything by themselves when they were born into luxury." Alexander closed the bottle of water and slowly turned around. "Hi, everyone," he greeted, trying to keep his voice casual. "Hi, Alex," Luna smiled at him. "I was just talking about our invisible boss. Have you ever had the honor of meeting His Majesty?" "Once or twice," Alexander replied, amused by the situation. "He's interesting." Translation: boring as can be. Luna laughed. "I bet he's the type who schedules 15-minute meetings just to show power." Alexander had to bite his lip not to laugh. He actually did have a 15-minute meeting scheduled for that afternoon. "Maybe you'd be surprised if you got to know him better," Alexander suggested. "I doubt it." Luna shook her head. "People like that live in a bubble. They have no idea what real life is like." That afternoon, Alexander was in his office getting ready for the executive meeting when Marcus came in. "Sir, the marketing team will be upstairs for the meeting in 5 minutes." Alexander stopped adjusting his tie. "The marketing team? All of them?" Quarterly presentation. Sarah included the new assistants so they can see how the process works. "Will Luna be at the meeting?" "Miss Martinez?" "I believe so." Alexander looked through the glass wall into the meeting room. There was no way she wouldn't recognize him there. "Marcus?" "No, wait." He thought quickly. "Tell them I was called to an urgent call. Have the meeting without me and send me the report by email." "Sir, just do it, please." Marcus shook his head but went out to tell the team. Alexander stayed hidden in his office, watching through the crack of the door as Luna and the others entered the meeting room. 2 hours later, he ran into Luna again in the break room. "So, how was your first executive meeting?" he asked, pretending casual curiosity. "Oh, the almighty CEO didn't even show up," Luna laughed. "Must have been too busy counting money or whatever rich people do. Maybe he had something really important to deal with. More important than meeting the team? I doubt it." Luna shook her head. "You know what? I'm just going to focus on my work and forget the boss exists. It's easier that way." "Good strategy," Alexander agreed, smiling. "Want to have lunch with me tomorrow?" Luna asked suddenly, then blushed. "I mean, if you don't already have plans. It's just, you're the only normal person I've met here." Alexander felt his heart race. "Of course. That would be great." When Luna left, Alexander stood in the break room smiling like a teenager. He was caught in a complicated situation, but for the first time in years, he felt truly happy at work. "So where do you want to have lunch?" Alexander asked as they walked down a busy street in Miami. How about that food truck over there?" Luna pointed to a colorful trailer with a long line. "It smells amazing." Alexander looked at the food truck, then at Luna. For the last 5 years, his lunches had always been in 5-star restaurants with ocean views. But her excitement was contagious. "Food truck works perfectly," he said, smiling. While they waited in line, Luna noticed a group of well-dressed executives walking into an expensive restaurant across the street. "Look at those guys," she said, shaking her head. "I bet they've never eaten a hot dog in their lives. Probably the type who order imported sparkling water and think that makes them sophisticated." Alexander almost choked on his own saliva. Just last week, he had literally ordered imported sparkling water at a business meeting. "Do you have something against successful people?" he asked, trying to sound casual. "Not against success. Against arrogance," Luna laughed. "My grandmother always said, 'Honey, you can have money, but if you forget where you came from, you've just become a rich fool.'" She was wise. "Your grandmother sounds like an interesting woman. She was the best. She practically raised me on her own after my parents died. She cleaned houses for wealthy people and always came back with hilarious stories about how out of touch they were." Alexander felt a pang in his chest. How many people like Luna's grandmother had worked in his own home over the years? He didn't even know their names. "What do you mean, out of touch?" "Oh, she told plenty of stories." Luna laughed, animated. "Like the lady who called in a panic because she didn't know how to turn on the washing machine, or the man who asked if bananas grew on trees. Once, a socialite even asked my grandmother how much a regular loaf of bread from the market cost because she wanted to understand how poor people live." "That can't be true," Alexander said, though inwardly he made a mental note to find out the price of bread. "I swear to God." And the worst part is they thought they were being nice. Luna mimicked an exaggerated voice. "Oh, how interesting. Poor people are so creative." Alexander laughed, but it was a bit nervous. In the weeks that followed, they began meeting regularly after work. Alexander discovered a Miami he had never seen before. Public parks where families had picnics, neighborhood theaters that showed old movies, beaches where people played guitar at sunset. "You're different from the other guys I've met," Luna said one afternoon as they walked through Bayfront Park. "Most of them try to impress by taking me to expensive places. You seem to enjoy simple things." If only she knew he had canceled a meeting with Japanese investors to watch a romantic comedy with her. "Simple things can be the best," Alexander replied, and he realized he truly believed it. At work, the situation was becoming almost comical. Luna had become the unofficial critic of the invisible CEO. "Guys, did you hear this?" she said during a break, holding up a printed email. "He sent a note about human resources optimization. Who even talks like that? Why not just say, 'Let's work better'?" Alexander, who was organizing supplies nearby, almost dropped a box of staplers. He had spent 20 minutes that morning writing that note. "Maybe he just wants to sound professional," suggested Jennifer. "Professional? That's pretentious," Luna laughed. "I bet he has an assistant whose only job is to choose fancy words for him." "Good morning, Mr. Stone. Would you like to use implement, optimize, or restructure in today's emails?" Alexander pretended to be very focused on organizing paper clips. "And another thing," Luna went on, excited. "He switched the office coffee to a premium organic brand. Who cares about organic coffee? Coffee is coffee. But of course, His Majesty can't drink regular coffee like us mere mortals." In reality, Alexander had switched the coffee after hearing Luna complain that the old one was terrible. But he couldn't admit that. "Maybe he just wanted you all to have better coffee," Alexander murmured. "Oh, sure," Luna laughed loudly. "Next thing will be imported water from France." Alexander swallowed hard. On Thursday, during sunset at South Beach, they were walking barefoot on the sand, Luna talking about her dream of starting a small consulting business. "Do you know what my biggest fear is?" she said, stopping to look at the horizon. "Becoming one of those people who forget where they came from, who stop seeing beauty in simple things." Alexander looked at her, hair tousled by the wind, a simple dress, eyes shining with the dreams she carried, and realized he was completely in love. "You would never be like that," he said, touching her face. "How do you know?" "Because you have something money can't buy. Authenticity. That's when it happened. A soft, sweet kiss, tasting of the coconut ice cream they had shared, and carrying the flavor of endless possibilities." "Luna," Alexander said, his forehead still against hers, "will you be my girlfriend officially?" "Of course, silly. I've been waiting for you to ask for weeks." The next day, Alexander arrived at the office feeling like he was floating. Marcus found him signing documents with a silly smile on his face. "Sir, the third quarter financial report." "Marcus, do you know how much a regular loaf of bread costs at the supermarket?" "Sir? And do you know how much someone working at a cafe actually makes?" "The real minimum wage, not the numbers we see in reports." Marcus blinked a few times. I can look that up for you, sir. Do that. And I also want to report on benefits for entry-level employees. Health coverage, meal allowance, those things. In the following weeks, employees at Stone Industries started noticing strange changes. The CEO had approved an increase in the meal allowance, improved the health plan, and created a suggestion program where any employee could propose improvements for the company. Wow, what a strange change, Luna commented during lunch. Did our ghost CEO hit his head and turn into a nice guy? Maybe he's evolving, Alexander suggested. Or maybe he hired a human relations consultant because someone told him he was a terrible boss. Ironically, Luna was standing out more and more at work. Her ideas for campaigns were creative and effective, and she had proposed a restructuring of the customer service system that could save the company thousands of dollars. Sarah approached Alexander, who was in box carrier mode in the hallway. Alex, you know Luna pretty well, right? A little. Why? She's amazing, efficient, creative, dedicated. I'm thinking about recommending her for a promotion. Alexander felt a mix of pride and panic. What kind of promotion? Special projects coordinator. Much better salary, and she deserves it. That's great, Alexander said, but inside he was calculating how to justify such a fast promotion without raising suspicions. That night, over dinner at a small Mexican restaurant Luna loved, she was excitedly telling him about her day. Alex, I think I might get a promotion. Sarah said my project caught the attention of the directors. That's wonderful. You deserve it. It feels kind of surreal, you know? A month ago I was serving coffee, and now I'm creating campaigns that could be on television. Alexander smiled, but part of him was panicking. How long could he keep up this act? And when he told her the truth, would Luna forgive him? Luna, he said hesitantly, what if you found out that someone close to you hadn't been completely honest about certain things? What kind of things? Hypothetically, let's say about work or financial situation. Luna stopped eating. Are you hiding something from me, Alex? Alexander looked into her eyes and almost told her everything. Almost. No, he lied. Just a philosophical curiosity. Well, Luna said, going back to her meal. Honesty is the foundation of any relationship. If someone lied about something important, I'd be hurt. But depending on the reason, maybe I could forgive it. And if it was a big lie? How big? Alexander swallowed hard. Really big. Luna looked at him seriously. Alex, big lies usually destroy relationships. The person would need a very good reason and a very sincere apology. That night, Alexander stayed up late, watching Luna sleep beside him in her small apartment. He was living the most complicated double life in history. Billionaire by day, employee's boyfriend by night. And for the first time in his life, he didn't know which of the two identities was the real one. The next day, Alexander called Luna over and handed her a golden invitation. A charity gala? Luna's eyes widened as she held the invitation. Alex, this looks like something out of a movie. The company always participates in these events, Alexander explained, trying to sound casual while inside he was as nervous as a teenager on a first date. I thought it would be nice if you came with me. But just look at this. Luna laughed, reading the invitation. Annual Miami Elite Charity Gala. Elite, Alex. I don't even know how to hold a champagne glass properly. You're going to look beautiful, and champagne is just a drink with fancy bubbles. Easy for you to say. Don't tell me you go to these events all the time. Alexander almost choked. No, not exactly all the time. In fact, he had organized half of those events. But that was a detail Luna didn't need to know yet. Later at her apartment, Luna was nervous. I need to buy a dress. Luna jumped off the couch. Sophia, she shouted to her roommate. Fashion emergency. While Luna was getting ready for the event, Alexander was at his apartment on the phone with Marcus, executing the craziest plan of his business career. Marcus, did you get that right? Call everyone who's going to be at the gala. Investors, partners, suppliers, everyone. And what exactly should I say, sir? That I'm running a social experiment. During the party, no one should recognize me as the CEO. I'm just Alex, a regular employee. Sir, this is crazy, I know, but it's important. And if someone refuses to go along with it, tell them it's a matter of extreme personal importance to me. And Marcus? Yes, sir? If anyone ruins this, I'll move all their meetings to Monday at 6 in the morning for the next 6 months. On Saturday night, Luna looked radiant in a dark blue dress she had found on clearance. and which, by chance, made her look absolutely stunning. Alexander, used to seeing women covered in expensive jewelry at events like this, thought he had never seen anyone more beautiful. "Are you sure I won't embarrass you?" Luna asked, nervously adjusting her hair as they entered the hotel ballroom. "Impossible," Alexander replied, offering her his arm. The ballroom was filled with elegant people, decorated with exotic flowers and golden lights. Luna looked around with shining eyes. "Wow, this is surreal. Look at that chandelier. It must cost more than my whole apartment." Alexander smiled. He knew exactly how much that chandelier cost. He had personally approved the purchase. They were talking near the bar when an affected voice interrupted them. "Alex, darling, what a wonderful surprise." Alexander turned and saw Victoria Ashford approaching, wearing a red dress that probably cost more than Luna's annual salary. She was tall, blonde, with the kind of polished beauty that came from years of expensive treatments and personal trainers. Victoria greeted, trying to stay composed. "I just got back from the Hamptons. I was dying to see Miami again." "And you, of course." She winked, then looked at Luna as if noticing her for the first time. "And who is your companion?" "This is Luna," Alexander said. "Luna, Victoria Ashford." Victoria extended her hand with a fake smile. "Nice to meet you. Are you new to the social circle?" "Actually, I work at Stone Industries," Luna replied with a genuine smile. "I'm an assistant in the marketing department." Victoria's smile grew even more forced. "Oh, how interesting." Alexander has always been generous with new employees. Luna blinked, not quite catching the condescending tone, but Alexander noticed it immediately. "Victoria, it's so sweet when successful people mingle with." Victoria paused theatrically, the operational staff. "Some people are really born to serve, aren't they?" The silence that followed was deafening. Luna turned red, but not from embarrassment, from anger. "Excuse me?" Luna said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, darling, don't be offended." Victoria laughed. "It's just the natural order of things. Everyone in their proper place, you know?" Alexander felt his blood boil. "Victoria, that was unnecessary and rude." "Rude?" Victoria blinked, pretending innocence. "I was only being realistic." "You know what's realistic?" Luna stepped closer to Victoria, still smiling sweetly. "Realistic is that at least I work to live instead of living off other people's work. And here's another reality. Your hair extensions are showing. Maybe you should change stylists." Victoria instinctively touched her hair, and Luna turned to Alexander. "Alex, how about we get a drink? The air here feels a little contaminated." They walked away, leaving Victoria speechless. Alexander was both impressed and completely smitten. "Luna, you were incredible." "People like that get on my nerves," Luna huffed. "Who does she think she is? The Queen of England?" "Something like that," Alexander muttered. For the rest of the night, Victoria kept watching Alexander and Luna from a distance, clearly bothered. She moved around to other guests, asking discreet questions about the employee who was with Alexander. On Monday, Luna was working when she saw Victoria walk into the office with Sarah. "What is that viper doing here?" she muttered to Jennifer. "Victoria Ashford? She's from an important family. Sometimes she comes for high-level meetings." Luna watched Victoria greeting several people, clearly playing the part of someone important. When Victoria passed by her desk, she stopped. "Luna, what a coincidence to find you working." "That's what normal people do, Victoria. Work, of course. And how's your friend? Alex, right?" "He's doing great, thank you." "Good. You seem like a naive person. It's important to be careful with people's intentions, especially charming men." Luna frowned. "What do you mean by that?" "Nothing specific." Victoria smiled her fake smile. "Just a general comment about social compatibility." That afternoon, Luna looked for Alexander in the break room. "Alex, can I ask you a serious question?" "Of course. Have you told me everything about you? About your life, your family, those things?" Alexander felt his stomach drop. "Why do you ask?" "That snake Victoria told me some strange things about being careful with your intentions." "Luna, Victoria is complicated. She doesn't like it when she's not the center of attention. My mother always told me something before she died." Luna leaned against the wall. She used to say, "Luna, never let anyone make you feel small because of your money or social status. Your value is in here." She tapped her chest. "Not in the bank." Alexander felt a stab in his heart. Your mother was right. Then answer me honestly. Are you with me for the right reasons? Alexander looked into her eyes and saw so much trust, so much genuine love, that he almost confessed everything right then. Luna, he stopped, losing his courage. I'm with you because you're the most authentic and amazing person I've ever met. Technically, it wasn't a lie, but it wasn't the whole truth either. Meanwhile, Victoria was at a private investigator's office, sliding a photo of Alexander and Luna across the desk. I want to know everything about these two, especially the nature of their relationship. Any specific suspicion? Let's just say I have a feeling not everything is what it seems. Victoria smiled wickedly. And when I find out what it is, it'll be interesting to see how little Luna reacts to the truth. The investigator picked up the photo. How soon do you need this? As soon as possible. I have a feeling I'm about to discover something very entertaining. Victoria left the office humming. Luna was organizing reports at her desk when Sarah rushed in, her urgent expression making Luna's stomach tighten. Luna, I need you to take these documents to the CEO right away. It's extremely urgent. To the CEO? Luna's eyes widened. But I don't even know where his office is. 30th floor, last door in the hallway. Knock and go in. There's no time for formalities. The meeting with the Japanese investors cannot be delayed. Luna grabbed the folder with trembling hands. She was finally going to meet the famous Alexander Stone, the invisible man she had criticized so often. What am I wearing? She murmured, looking down. Oh my God, this blouse has a coffee stain. He'll think I'm sloppy. In the elevator, Luna tried to fix her hair using the reflection in the metal doors. All right, Luna. Just hand over the papers, say hello politely, and leave. No criticizing imported water or big words in emails. Be professional. The 30th floor was impressive. All glass, marble, and furniture that looked more expensive than a car. Luna walked down the hallway, trying not to make noise with her shoes. Last door, she whispered, stopping in front of a large, dark wooden door. She knocked lightly but heard no response. Sarah had told her to go straight in, so Luna turned the handle and pushed the door open. Excuse me, Mr. Stone, I brought the documents that... The words died in her throat. There, sitting at the head of a massive conference table, surrounded by executives in expensive suits, was Alex. Her Alex, the box carrier. The simple employee who ate hot dogs and watched movies in a neighborhood theater. Except he wasn't carrying boxes. He was clearly leading the meeting, with a confident, authoritative posture Luna had never seen before. Luna? Alexander stood up immediately, his face pale with panic. Luna looked around the room, noticing all the executives staring at her. On the wall behind Alexander, a golden plaque read, Alexander Stone, CEO. The folder slipped from her hands, papers scattering across the floor like confetti at a party. This can't be, Luna whispered, shaking her head. This can't be. Luna, wait, I can explain. But she was already backing away, stumbling over her own feet. She pointed to the plaque on the wall, then to him, then back to the plaque again, as if her mind refused to process it. Gentlemen, Alexander said to the executives, without taking his eyes off Luna. Let's postpone this meeting. But sir, the Japanese investors, postpone the meeting! Alexander shouted, and Luna had never heard that tone of voice from him before. She ran. Luna ran through the hallways as if escaping a fire, not caring about the curious looks from employees. She kept running. Stairs, elevator, lobby, anything to get out. Luna! Luna! She heard Alexander calling after her, but she didn't stop. She reached the parking lot, breathless, her makeup smeared with tears, desperately searching for car keys in her bag. Where are these damn keys? She muttered, rummaging through her purse. Luna, please. She turned around. Alexander was standing a few feet away, still in his suit, tie undone, hair messy from running. Don't come near me, she said, her voice trembling. Let me explain. Explain, Luna shouted, her voice echoing through the parking lot. Explain what? That you lied about everything? That you deceived me all this time? I never wanted to hurt you? Never wanted to hurt me? Luna laughed, but it was a bitter laugh, without joy. You made a fool of me, Alexander. Or should I call you Mr. Stone now? I'm still Alex to you. I'm still the same man who... The same man. Luna was hysterical now. The same man who pretended to carry boxes, who listened to me criticize his own boss and pretended to agree, who took me out for hot dogs when you probably dine at restaurants that cost more than my salary. Alexander tried to get closer, but Luna stepped back. You used me, she said, her voice breaking. What was I? A pastime? A social experiment? The poor waitress you thought would be fun to date for a while? It was never that. Alexander shouted. I fell in love with you. Fell in love? With me or with the idea of me? Luna wiped her tears. Because you never gave me the chance to know the real you, Alexander, if that person even exists. He does. I'm the same man who gets nervous when you smile, who stays up all night thinking about you, who lies about who he is. Luna cut him off. Do you know how many times I criticized you to your face? How many times I said the CEO of Stone Industries must be a spoiled brat? And you just stood there laughing at me. I wasn't laughing at you. Yes, you were. It must have been hilarious. The dumb employee criticizing the boss without knowing she was talking to him. Alexander took another step closer. Luna, when I met you at the cafe, I was tired of people who only wanted me for my money. You looked at me like a normal human being. It was freeing. So you decided to keep lying? I decided I wanted you to know me for real. Without the billions, without the power. Just me. But you're not just you. Luna gestured desperately. You are the billions. You are the power. That's your life. And you hid it from me because you knew I would hate it. You wouldn't hate it. Yes, I would. Luna shouted. And you knew it. That's why you lied. A tense silence fell between them. Luna was shaking, partly from anger, partly from pain. Was any of what we had real? She asked in a small voice. Or was it all an act? Alexander looked at her with such intensity that she almost believed him. It was all real. Every moment, every word, except the part where you told me who you really were. Luna shook her head. I can't trust you anymore, Alexander. I don't know what's true anymore. She finally found the keys in her bag. Luna, don't leave like this. Let's talk. There's nothing left to talk about. Yes, there is. We have a relationship. Luna stopped with her hand on the car door. No. You have a relationship with a version of me who believed your lies. That Luna doesn't exist anymore. She got into the car and drove out of the parking lot, leaving Alexander standing alone among the luxury cars, watching the only thing that really mattered to him disappear around the corner. The next day, Luna walked into Stone Industries for the last time. She had spent the entire night crying, and her eyes were red and swollen. Sarah found her at her desk, packing up her things. Luna, are you all right? I heard there was some problem yesterday. I'm handing in my resignation, Luna said, holding out an amber anymore. But why? You're our best assistant. Luna looked around the office, at the colleagues she had grown to like, at the desk where she had been happy. I just can't anymore. I'm sorry. She picked up the box with her belongings and left, without looking back. On the 30th floor, Alexander was standing at the window of his office, watching the movement on the street below. Marcus came in with reports, but he didn't even turn around. Sir? The meeting with the Japanese has been rescheduled for. Marcus, have you ever truly been in love? Sir? Forget it, Alexander murmured. Cancel all meetings for today. The door opened and Victoria walked in, wearing a smile of false concern. Alexander, dear, I heard there was a little incident yesterday. How are you? Alexander turned, and Victoria almost stepped back when she saw the expression on his face. You knew, didn't you? Knew what? That she would find out. You investigated, discovered my disguise, and… Alexander, I don't know what you're talking about. Victoria lied smoothly. But maybe it was for the best. Now you can focus on someone from your own social circle. Alexander looked at her with disgust. Get out of my office. Alexander, get out. Victoria left quickly, but she was smiling. Her plan had worked perfectly. Meanwhile, in the small apartment, Luna was lying on the couch, hugging a pillow and sobbing. Sophia was sitting on the floor next to her, handing her tissues. Luna, maybe he really does love you. How would I know? Luna cried. How can I know what was real and what was a lie? He made me feel special, Sophia. He made me believe that someone like him could care about someone like me. But it was all fake. Maybe it wasn't. It was, Luna sighed, exhausted. And the worst part is, I really did fall in love with him, with the Alex he pretended to be. And now I don't know if that man ever existed, or if it was just a fantasy. She curled up on the couch, closing her eyes, trying to erase the memories of every smile, every kiss, every moment that now felt like a carefully built lie. A few days later, Luna was sitting in an uncomfortable chair, in a room that looked more like a storage closet than an office, waiting for her 5th job interview that week. The place smelled like stale coffee and disinfectant, a combination that was becoming all too familiar. Luna Martinez, called a short woman in her 50s, glasses hanging from a gold chain. "That's me." Luna jumped up so quickly she almost knocked the chair over. "I'm Dolores, owner of Sunshine Marketing, a small company, but with a big heart," the woman said, shaking Luna's hand with surprising strength. "I saw your resume. Experience at Stone Industries. Impressive." Luna's chest tightened just hearing the name. "Yes, it was an interesting experience." "Why did you leave?" "Big company, good salary. Let's say I had philosophical differences with management." Luna answered diplomatically. "Ah, I get it. Bad boss? Something like that." Luna murmured. "Well, here you'll make $2,000 a month, no full health plan, no meal allowance, but—" Dolores smiled. "No bad boss either. Just me, and I'm only half crazy." Luna laughed for the first time in days. "I'll take it." "Great. You start Monday. And Luna?" Dolores winked. "Here no one pretends to be someone they're not. We're all just honest poor folks." While Luna was restarting her professional life at a wobbly, wooden desk with a computer that took 5 minutes to turn on, Alexander was turning Stone Industries into the most depressing place in Miami. "Sir?" Marcus walked into the office carefully, as if handling a wounded animal. The monthly reports. Alexander was staring out the window, wearing a wrinkled suit, messy hair, and holding a cup of coffee that had gone cold hours ago. "Sir?" "Marcus, do you think I'm a horrible person?" "Sir?" "A simple question. Am I horrible?" Marcus hesitated. In the last few days, Alexander had canceled 3 important meetings, rejected $2 million contracts, and spent hours staring at his phone, as if waiting for it to ring on its own. "You're going through a hard time." "That doesn't answer my question." "Sir, you're my boss. I can't say you're horrible." "And if I weren't your boss?" Marcus looked at Alexander. Unshaven, red-eyed, radiating a sadness that had employees whispering in the hallways. "If you weren't my boss, I'd say you look like someone who lost something very important and doesn't know how to get it back." Alexander finally turned around. "Sharp, Marcus. Very sharp." That same afternoon, Victoria showed up at Alexander's office wearing a dress that probably cost more than Luna's annual salary at Sunshine Marketing. "Alexander, darling, you look terrible." "Thank you, Victoria. Very comforting. That's why I'm here." She sat down in the chair across from his desk. "I organized a dinner at the club on Saturday. Interesting people, wonderful food. I'm not in the mood to socialize." "Exactly why you need to. You can't hide here forever because of a secretary." Alexander gave her a look that made Victoria pull back slightly. "Her name is Luna." "Of course, darling, Luna. But let's be practical." Victoria leaned forward. "You're Alexander Stone. You can have any woman in Miami. Why torture yourself over someone who clearly doesn't understand your world?" Maybe that's exactly why she was special. Was. Past tense. "Now you need to move on." Alexander sighed. "Fine. A dinner. But only because you won't leave me alone until I agree." "Perfect." Victoria smiled triumphantly. Meanwhile, Luna was at her new desk at Sunshine Marketing, creating a campaign for a cupcake shop, when Sophia called. "Luna, you need to get out of that apartment on weekends." "I'm fine here, thanks." "You're turning into a hermit. Yesterday you talked to the television." "I was disagreeing with the news. That's different." "Luna, maybe you should give Alexander a second chance." Luna stopped typing. "Sophia, listen, I know he lied, but maybe he really loved you and just didn't know how to tell the truth. He had plenty of chances to tell me." "What if he was afraid? What if he's been used for his money so many times that he's become paranoid?" Luna looked at her computer screen, where there was a picture of a smiling cupcake. "It doesn't matter anymore." "Yes, it does. You're miserable. He probably is too." "How do you know?" "Because when 2 people truly love each other and they split, both are miserable." On Monday, Luna arrived at work and found a huge bouquet of daisies on her desk. Daisies were her favorite flowers, something she had mentioned casually to Alexander during one of their outings. "Looks like someone has a secret admirer." Dolores sang, showing up with a coffee. Luna looked for a card, but there wasn't one. "Probably a delivery mistake," she murmured, but kept the flowers anyway. On Tuesday, sunflowers arrived. On Wednesday, yellow tulips. Always without a card, Always flowers she loved. Luna, Dolores said on Thursday, glancing at the office that was starting to look like a flower shop. Either you have the most persistent admirer in the world, or someone's trying to turn our company into a greenhouse. Luna sighed. I think I know who it is. And are you going to do something about it? I'll pretend I'm not receiving them. Ah, the ostrich strategy. Classic. Meanwhile, Alexander was in his office, calling the same flower shop every morning. Good morning, is this Flowers and Love? I'd like to send another bouquet to Mr. Stone. The clerk said, You've already sent flowers every day this week. The recipient hasn't called to thank you even once. I know, maybe you should try a different approach. Maybe I should. But for now, keep sending the flowers. As you wish, sir. Alexander hung up and looked at his phone. He had dialed Luna's number 47 times in the past 3 weeks, but never had the courage to complete the call. On Friday, Luna was leaving work when she saw a bouquet of white roses on the bench outside the building. There was a simple note, I'm sorry. She looked around, half expecting to see Alexander hiding behind a car, but the street was empty. Idiot, she muttered, but picked up the flowers anyway. At home, Sophia found Luna in the kitchen, arranging the flowers in several improvised vases. Wow, looks like you married a gardener. He's been sending flowers every day. And you're keeping all of them. They're pretty. It would be a waste to throw them out. Luna, he's trying to apologize. With flowers? What a male solution. It's a start. Luna looked at the flowers spread around the kitchen. For a moment she almost smiled, remembering how proud Alexander had been when he found out she loved daisies. 3 weeks, Sophia. 3 weeks of flowers and not a single word. If he really wants to apologize, he should come talk to me like an adult. And if he does? Luna paused, holding a white rose. I don't know. I really don't know. That night, both were awake. Alexander in his luxurious apartment, staring at his phone and wondering if he should call. Luna in her modest apartment, staring at the flowers and wondering if she should forgive. Neither had the courage. And another sleepless night went by, with 2 stubborn hearts beating alone in opposite corners of the same city. Victoria was sitting in the most expensive cafe in Miami, stirring her imported jasmine tea delicately, when her friend Priscilla rushed in, looking like she had fresh gossip. Victoria! You won't believe where I'm working now. Where, darling? Victoria pretended to be interested, though she was more concerned about not smudging her lipstick. Sunshine Marketing. That ridiculous little company downtown. And guess who works there? Victoria almost dropped her cup. Don't tell me it's that little employee who was clinging to Alexander at the gala. Luna something. A malicious smile spread across Victoria's face. Sometimes the universe conspired in her favor. How interesting, Priscilla. What kind of person is she at work? Oh, everybody loves her. Efficient, friendly, funny. Kind of annoying, actually. Victoria tapped her fingers on the table. You know, Priscilla, I've heard some rumors about this Luna. Very troubling things. What kind of rumors? Victoria leaned forward as if she were about to share a state secret. Well, let's just say she has a habit of getting close to rich men with hidden intentions. A true gold digger. Really? My dear, I have very reliable sources. She even tried to blackmail poor Alexander after he broke up with her. Priscilla's eyes widened. What a scandal. And here I was thinking she was such a sweet girl. People like that are experts at fooling others. Victoria sighed dramatically. I feel so sorry for Alexander. He's so generous, so trusting, it makes him vulnerable to schemers like this Luna. On Monday, Luna arrived at work humming softly, carrying a coffee and a blueberry muffin she had bought at the corner bakery. The weekend had been calm, and she was starting to feel like maybe she could move on. Good morning, everyone, she greeted cheerfully. But something was off. Conversations stopped when she walked in, and her coworkers avoided eye contact. Good morning, Luna, Carlos from design replied, but without his usual smile. Is everything all right? Luna asked. You all seem kind of strange. We're fine, said Mariana from accounting, but she was clearly uncomfortable. Luna shrugged and went to her desk. Maybe it was just too much Monday for everyone. But during the day, things got stranger. Priscilla, who was usually friendly, walked past Luna as if she were invisible. Other colleagues whispered when she passed by. What kind of paranoia is this? Luna muttered, trying to focus on her work. On Wednesday, Dolores called Luna into her office for a talk. Luna, sit down. I need to tell you something serious. The grave tone made Luna's stomach sink. Did something happen, Dolores? Unfortunately, yes. 3 of our biggest clients canceled their contracts this week. What? Why? Dolores looked uncomfortable. They mentioned rumors about one of our employees having a questionable history with personal relationships. Luna's jaw dropped. Questionable history? What story is this? Luna, I don't believe it, but they're worried about the company's reputation. They mentioned blackmail, inappropriate behavior, blackmail. Luna jumped out of her chair so fast it almost tipped over. Dolores, I have never blackmailed anyone in my life. I barely even know how blackmail works. I know, dear. But the clients are worried, and without their firing me, Luna said, her voice sounding more like a statement than a question. I don't have a choice. The company can't survive without those contracts. Luna felt her legs weaken. Dolores, I swear on my grandmother's memory I never did any of this. Someone is lying about me. I believe you, Luna. But that doesn't change the situation. 2 hours later, Luna was once again carrying a box with her belongings, walking through the streets of Miami in complete shock. Blackmail? She said to herself. I'm the one who once gave back the wrong change at the cafe. How could anyone think I'm a blackmailer? In the following days, Luna discovered the rumors had spread like wildfire. Every job interview ended with suspicious looks and, "We'll be in touch." Sophia, nobody wants to hire me, Luna said, slumped on the couch with a tub of ice cream. It's like I have a sign on my forehead that says professional con artist. That's way too specific to be a coincidence, Sophia said, frowning. Someone is doing this on purpose. But who? I'm the most harmless person in the world. At most, someone could accuse me of singing too loudly in the shower. While Luna tried to figure out what was happening to her life, Alexander was in his office listening to the strangest report he had ever received. Sir, Marcus said, clearly uncomfortable. There are some rumors going around about Miss Luna. Alexander lifted his head from the papers. What kind of rumors? Well, about her being a gold digger, and about an attempt at blackmail. Alexander was silent for a long moment. Marcus, have you ever seen Luna in person? A few times, sir. Does she strike you as the type of person who would blackmail someone? Marcus thought of the friendly young woman who greeted everyone in the hallways and always thanked him when he held the elevator. Honestly? No, sir. She barely manages to ask for a discount at the cafeteria. Exactly. Something's wrong here. Alexander picked up the phone and called the best private investigator in Miami. Robert, I need you to investigate the origin of some rumors, and I want fast results. 3 days later, Robert was back in Alexander's office with a report that made the CEO see red. Mr. Stone, all the rumors trace back to a single source. Victoria Ashford orchestrated a systematic smear campaign against Luna Martinez. Prove it. I have recordings of conversations, phone records, and 3 witnesses willing to confirm that Victoria offered money to spread the lies. Alexander slammed the table. Sir? What do you want me to do with this information? Nothing for now. I'll handle it myself. The next night, Alexander arranged to meet Victoria at the most exclusive restaurant in town. She arrived radiant, wearing a dress that probably cost more than most people made in 6 months. Alexander, what a delightful surprise. You finally decided to forget that. Victoria, Alexander cut her off, his voice dangerously calm. I need to congratulate you. Congratulate me? For your creativity, blackmail, gold digging. You really outdid yourself. Victoria's smile faltered. I don't know what you're talking about. Alexander placed the investigator's report on the table. I have recordings, Victoria. Your own words. Victoria looked at the report, then at Alexander, and her fake smile finally disappeared. So what? She was never worthy of you. I did you a favor. A favor? Alexander stood up, drawing attention from other tables. You destroyed the reputation of an innocent person. Innocent? Victoria laughed. She was just an ordinary employee who took advantage of you. She loved me for who I was, not for what I had. Something you never understood. Alexander, be reasonable. You can have any woman in high society. I wanted Luna, and now, thanks to you, it might be too late to fix things. Alexander threw some bills on the table. I never want to see you near me or Luna again. And Victoria? He leaned forward. If I find out you've done anything else against her, I'll use every resource I have to make your life very, very difficult. Victoria was left alone at the table, watching Alexander walk out of the restaurant. For the first time in her privileged life, she realized she had lost something she truly wanted, and that maybe some battles weren't worth winning. Later, Luna was sitting on the apartment floor, surrounded by piles of overdue bills, printed spreadsheets, and a laptop that had seen better days. Sophia was in the kitchen making instant noodles, again, because that's what the budget allowed. "Sophia, I had an idea," Luna said, holding up a piece of paper dramatically. "Please tell me it doesn't involve selling blood or hair. Better than that. I'm going to start my own business." Sophia stopped stirring the noodles. "Luna, you have $47 in your account." "Exactly. That's why I need to do something." Luna jumped, excited. "Remember I had a small agency in Orlando before I moved here? The one you sold to pay for the move? That's the one. And why did I sell it? Because I was good at what I did. I have a degree in marketing, management experience, and a reputation destroyed all over Miami." Minor detail, Luna waved her hand. "The point is, I'm going to create Luna Marketing Solutions, consulting for small businesses." Sophia looked at her friend as if she had just announced plans to colonize Mars. "With what money?" "I have $600 in savings, a laptop that still works," and Luna spread her arms theatrically. "Passion for what I do, Luna. And you know who my target audience is? Small businesses that can't afford expensive agencies. Bakeries, beauty salons, family shops. People who need smart marketing on a tight budget." Sophia turned off the stove and faced her completely. "Actually, that makes sense. It does, right?" Luna smiled. "And the best part? I'll work from home. No office rent, no employees at the start, just me, my laptop, and a lot of determination." A week later, Luna had transformed the guest room into an improvised office. Posters with marketing strategies covered the wall, a desk made from 2 chairs and an old door Sophia had found on the street. "My first client," Luna shouted, hanging up the phone and dancing around the house. "Who is it?" Sophia asked, running in from the kitchen. "Mrs. Carmen, from the corner bakery. She wants a campaign to boost weekend sales." "How much is she paying?" $300. Luna paused. "But Sophia, this is great. It's a start." Luna threw herself into the project with an energy Sophia hadn't seen in months. She created a campaign called Sweet Sunday at Carmen's, with special promotions, social media posts, and even suggested partnerships with the neighborhood cafe. The results were impressive. Mrs. Carmen's sales went up 40% the very first weekend. "My goodness, Luna," Mrs. Carmen said, showing up at the apartment with a chocolate cake. "You're a genius. I had to make twice as many sweetbreads." Word spread quickly. In 2 weeks, Luna had 5 clients. In a month, she had 15. "I can't believe you're pulling this off," Sophia said, watching Luna work late into the night on a campaign for a vintage clothing store. "Me neither." Luna laughed without looking up from her computer. "You know what's funny? Working for people who actually need my help is so much more rewarding than creating campaigns for products that cost more than a car." What Luna didn't know was that, a few miles away, Alexander was keeping track of her every move through discreet reports Marcus prepared. "How is she doing, Marcus?" Alexander asked, trying to sound casual. "Very well, sir. Her company is growing quickly. Happy clients, excellent results. And financially? Stable, but still tight. She's reinvesting everything back into the business." Alexander tapped his fingers on the table. "Marcus, do you know anyone who works with small businesses? Someone who could recommend her services, sir? Hypothetically, if you knew business owners who needed marketing consulting." Marcus smiled slightly. "I understand perfectly, sir. I'll see what I can do." 2 weeks later, Luna picked up a call that left her puzzled. "Luna Marketing Solutions. This is Luna speaking." "Miss Luna, this is Carlos Mendoza, owner of a chain of diners. I received a very strong recommendation for your services." "That's wonderful. From whom?" "A contact in the investment business. He said you're the best marketing consultant for small businesses in Miami." Luna frowned. "Interesting. Well, I'd be happy to help." The contract was 3 times larger than any she'd landed before. Within a week, she received 2 more similar referrals. "Sophia, this is strange," Luna said, looking at her packed schedule. "Like, strange in a good way, but still strange. Why? These big clients are coming out of nowhere, and all of them were referred by people who don't want to be identified. Maybe you really are that good at what you do? I am, but… Luna paused. This feels familiar, like someone is helping me. Do you think it's Alexander? Luna stayed silent for a moment. I don't know. Maybe. But if it is, why would he do this after everything that happened? 3 months later, Luna had created a campaign for a fitness chain that went viral. The slogan, "Real Fitness for Real People," caught the attention of the local media. "Luna Martinez," said the TV reporter, adjusting her microphone. "I'm Jessica Santos from Channel 7. We'd like to do a feature on young, successful entrepreneurs. Would you have time for an interview?" Luna nearly choked on her coffee. An interview? On TV? Your campaign for Fit Life is being talked about all over Miami. We want to hear more about your story. On the day of the interview, Luna was more nervous than ever. She borrowed a blazer from Sophia and spent an hour trying to tame her hair. "So Luna," Jessica said during the recording, "how did Luna Marketing Solutions come about?" "Well, Jessica, sometimes life pushes us in directions we don't expect." Luna smiled nervously. "I was going through a difficult professional phase, and I decided to take a chance on myself." "What sets your company apart?" "I believe every business has a unique story to tell. My job is to find that story and help people share it in an authentic way." "You're very young to be so successful. What's your secret?" Luna thought for a moment. "Honesty. With clients and with myself. I've learned that no matter how many times you fall, what matters is getting back up and continuing to believe in your potential. And," she hesitated, "I've learned the importance of trusting the right people, or learning to trust again, even after being disappointed." In his office, Alexander was watching the interview live, with Marcus by his side. "She's amazing," Alexander murmured, with a proud smile. "Yes, sir. Miss Luna has always been special." "Learning to trust again," Alexander repeated her words. "Do you think she's talking about?" "I don't know, sir, but Ms. Luna has always been very wise." Alexander kept watching, feeling a mix of pride, longing, and a hint of hope. Maybe, just maybe, there was still a chance for them. "Marcus?" "Yes, sir? Do you think she would forgive me if I came back into her life?" Marcus looked at the boss he had seen wasting away for months. "Sir, some people deserve a second chance, especially when they've learned from their mistakes." Alexander nodded, still watching Luna on the TV screen. Maybe it was time to be brave enough to try again. 6 months after the TV interview, Luna was in what was now officially called the Luna Marketing Solutions office, a modest but organized space she had rented downtown Miami. For the first time in her life, she had real employees. "Everyone, meeting," Luna called out, clapping her hands like an excited teacher. They rushed into the meeting room, which also served as a break room, storage, and lounge. Miguel, 22, a social media specialist who spoke more slang than proper words. Carla, 45, a former secretary who knew organization better than anyone, and Roberto, 60, retired but back at work because staying home was too boring. "Guys, you won't believe this." Luna waved a paper in the air. "We just signed a contract with the São Paulo pharmacy chain. 15 stores. Wow," Miguel exclaimed. "That's awesome, boss." "Translating for those over 30, said Carla, glancing at Roberto. "That means very good." "In my day, we just said great," Roberto muttered, though he was smiling. Luna was glowing. In 6 months, she had gone from living in Sophia's apartment to having her own office, from working alone to leading a team of 4, and from $47 in her account to a monthly revenue that made her proud. To celebrate, Luna announced, "Pizza for everyone, the good kind, not the discount one." "Now that's what I'm talking about, boss." Miguel clapped his hands. What Luna didn't know was that at that very moment, Victoria was in a dark office talking to a man in dark glasses who looked like he had stepped out of a spy movie. "I need you to destroy her system," Victoria said, sliding an envelope full of cash across the table. "Computers, files, everything." "Ma'am, that's cybercrime. It could mean prison." "Not if it's done well," Victoria smiled coldly. "And you're the best, aren't you?" The man took the envelope. "When do you want it done?" "Tonight, while she's asleep, dreaming of success." The next morning, Luna arrived at the office humming, carrying coffee for the whole team. But when she tried to turn on her computer, the screen went blue. "That's strange," she murmured, trying again. "Boss," Miguel shouted from across the room, "my computer's dead." "Mine too," Carla said. "And mine," Roberto added. Luna felt her stomach drop. She ran to her main computer, the one with all the client files. Blue screen. Then black. Then nothing. No, 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 no. Luna pressed every button she could. Come back, you stupid computer. Boss, I think we've been hacked, Miguel said, pale. Hacked? Luna stared at him as if he had spoken about aliens. We're a small company. Who would want to hack us? We're not the Pentagon. Carlo was on the phone with the technician. He says it looks like a coordinated attack. A very sophisticated virus. Luna collapsed into her chair. Everything was in there. 6 months of work, client files, presentations, proposals. Boss, take it easy. Roberto came closer. We'll figure something out. How, Roberto? I don't have the money to hire a cybersecurity specialist. I can barely pay you all. Luna was in the middle of a panic attack when the phone rang. Luna Marketing Solutions, this is Luna, she answered, trying not to sound desperate. Miss Luna? This is Marcus from Stone Industries. Luna almost dropped the phone. Marcus? The assistant to Alexander? Exactly. I heard you're having some technical issues. Stone Industries has an excellent cybersecurity team. We'd like to offer help. Help? Why? Let's just say Mr. Stone is interested in supporting small local businesses. Luna looked around the office at her worried team and the dead computers. Marcus, how much will this cost? Nothing. It's a company social project. 2 hours later, a team of cybersecurity experts arrived at Luna's office carrying equipment that looked like it came from the future. Miss Luna? Said the team leader, a young man with spiky hair. I'm Kevin from Stone Industries Cybersecurity Division. We'll have this fixed in a few hours. Can you recover the files? If we're right about the kind of attack, yes, and we'll also track where it came from. Luna watched as the technicians worked like electronic magicians. In 3 hours, every computer was running and all the files were back. Done, Kevin announced. And we found the source of the attack. Really? Where from? Kevin looked uneasy. It was ordered by, well, someone with a lot of money who clearly doesn't like you. Someone hired hackers to attack me? Luna sank into her chair. Who would do that? I can't give names, but let's just say this person has done it before. And our boss was expecting it. That afternoon, Alexander was in his office when Kevin arrived with the full report. Mr. Stone, we confirmed it. The attack came from the same source as the rumors about Luna Martinez. Victoria Ashford hired a group of hackers. Alexander clenched his fists. Evidence, bank transfers, emails, recordings, everything documented. Perfect. Marcus, schedule a meeting with Victoria. Now. An hour later, Victoria walked into Alexander's office with her usual fake smile. Alexander, what a delightful surprise. I heard that little businesswoman had computer problems. What a shame. Victoria. Alexander cut her off, dropped the act. I have proof of everything. Her smile faltered. Proof of what? Alexander threw a folder on the table. Hiring hackers, cyber-sabotage, defamation. Want me to go on? Victoria opened the folder and went pale when she saw the bank transfers in her own name. Alexander, I can explain. No need. It's all here. And now I'll give you a choice. You stop this sick obsession with Luna right now, or I hand everything over to the police and the press. You wouldn't dare. Want to test me? Alexander stood up. Victoria, I always thought you were just spoiled and self-centered. I didn't know you were a criminal too. She doesn't deserve you. And you deserve me even less. Get out of my office. And Victoria, if I find out you've done anything else to Luna, there won't be a single place in Miami where you can hide from the consequences. Victoria slammed the door on her way out, but Alexander knew she wouldn't dare try anything again. 2 days later, Luna received a letter delivered by a courier. She recognized the handwriting right away. Luna, I know I have no right to write to you, but I need you to know the truth about the attacks on your company. Victoria planned everything. The rumors, your dismissal, the computer attack. I have proof of it all. I'm not telling you this to look like a hero. I'm telling you because you deserve to know someone was trying to destroy your life. And that this person was stopped. I've always loved you, Luna. Since the first day at the cafe, I lied about who I was because I was afraid you'd only see me as a rich, distant CEO. I wanted you to know me as a person before you knew my bank account. Was that selfish? Yes. Was it wrong? Completely. But it was never because I didn't respect you. It was because I respected you too much to risk you wanting me for the wrong reasons. I'm not asking for forgiveness, but I hope you know you were the only person who ever made me feel like a regular human being, and not just Alexander Stone. With love and regret, Alex. Luna read the letter 3 times, sitting on the office floor after everyone had left. Sophia. She called her friend. I need to talk to someone. What happened? I found out who was sabotaging my life. And I found out Alexander helped me. And now? Luna looked out the office window, watching the lights of Miami come on. Now, I think I need to stop being so proud and admit I still have feelings for him. Luna. He made mistakes, but so did I. Maybe it's time we talked like adults. For the first time in months, Luna smiled when she thought about Alexander. Maybe some people really did deserve a second chance. Luna stood in front of the bathroom mirror at the Fontainebleau Hotel, trying for the 5th time to fix her hair so it didn't look like she had been attacked by a fan. Sophia, I shouldn't have come, she said on speakerphone while wrestling with her mascara. What a crazy idea to accept this nomination. Luna, you were nominated as Young Businesswoman of the Year in Miami. That's amazing. What if I trip on stage? What if I forget what to say? What if... Luna stopped, looking at herself in the mirror. What if Alexander is there? I know. But what if he is? I don't know if I'm ready to see him in person. You look beautiful, you're successful, and you deserve to be at this event. Now stop overthinking and go shine. Luna took a deep breath, adjusted the navy blue dress she had bought just for the occasion, and walked out of the bathroom with determination. The event hall was packed with Miami's business elite. Luna recognized a few people from TV and business magazines, which made her feel like a well-dressed imposter. Luna Martinez? An elegant woman approached her. I'm Patricia Williams from the event organization. Congratulations on your nomination. Thank you. I still can't believe I'm here. Your story is inspiring. From waitress to successful entrepreneur in less than a year. Impressive. Luna smiled, trying to look confident, but inside she was calculating every possible escape route to leave unnoticed. On the other side of the room, Alexander had arrived quietly and positioned himself behind a column where he could see the stage without being easily spotted. He wore a simple dark suit, very different from the designer suits he usually wore to events like this. Mr. Stone? Marcus appeared beside him. I didn't know you were coming to the event. Last-minute decision? Alexander murmured, without taking his eyes off Luna, who was chatting cheerfully with other guests. How is she? Radiant, sir. And clearly nervous. I still know her well, Alexander smiled sadly. The ceremony began with the hosts making jokes that only half the audience understood. Luna was sitting in the 3rd row, nervously fiddling with her bracelet and whispering what sounded like calming mantras to herself. And now, the host announced, the category everyone has been waiting for. Young Businesswoman of the Year. Luna felt her stomach do a triple flip. The nominees are Sarah Chen from the tech startup Foodie app, Maria Santos from the women's gym chain Power Woman, and Luna Martinez from Luna Marketing Solutions. Polite applause filled the room. Luna waved timidly, trying not to throw up from nerves. And the winner is... The host opened the envelope with theatrical slowness that tested everyone's patience. Luna Martinez! For a second, Luna couldn't process it. Then she heard her name echo through the hall and felt Patricia nudging her arm. Go on, dear, you won. Luna staggered to her feet, still in shock, and walked to the stage as if she were dreaming. She took the trophy, a crystal piece heavier than she expected, and stood at the microphone. Wow, she began, and the audience laughed. Sorry, I didn't prepare a speech because I didn't think I would win. More laughter. A year ago, I was serving coffee and being attacked by mutant cockroaches, Luna said, and the audience burst into laughter. Today I'm here, holding this beautiful trophy that probably costs more than my first car. Alexander smiled, remembering the cockroach incident. I want to thank everyone who believed in me, especially when I didn't believe in myself. To my team, who works with me like we're one crazy family. To my clients, who trusted a girl who until last month didn't even know how to issue an invoice properly. The audience was charmed by her honesty. But most of all, Luna paused, looking at the crowd. I want to talk about something I've learned this past year. About betrayal, forgiveness, and second chances. Alexander leaned closer to the column, paying full attention. I found out that sometimes people hurt us not because they're bad, but because they're afraid. Afraid of being rejected, afraid of not being loved for who they really are. And I learned that forgiving is not forgetting what happened. Forgiving is choosing to love despite what happened. A respectful silence filled the room. So if anyone here has ever made mistakes, Luna looked directly toward where Alexander was, as if she could sense him. Know that it's never too late to sincerely apologize. And for those who were hurt, know that holding on to resentment only hurts the one holding it. Alexander felt his eyes fill with tears. Thank you, Miami. You're amazing. Luna lifted the trophy and left the stage to enthusiastic applause. Backstage, Luna leaned against the wall, trying to process what had just happened, when she heard a familiar voice. Beautiful speech. She turned, and there was Alexander, hands in his pockets, a nervous smile on his face. Alexander, she whispered. Hi, Luna. They looked at each other for what felt like hours. Did you hear the speech? Luna asked. Every word. And I got the message. What message? That maybe you're willing to give me a second chance. Luna sighed. Alexander, we need to talk. Really talk. No lies, no disguises. You're right, Luna. He stopped, carefully choosing his words. I ruined everything. I lied because I was afraid you'd want me for my money. But in the process, I ended up not giving you the chance to truly know me. And I was too proud to try to understand your reasons, Luna admitted. I should have talked to you instead of running away. You had every right to be hurt. And you had every right to be afraid. I've seen the kind of people who approach you out of interest. Alexander stepped closer. Luna, I miss you every day. I miss our conversations, your funny remarks about my pretentious emails, the way you made me feel like a normal person. I miss you too, Luna confessed. The Alex who carried boxes and ate hot dogs with me. He still exists. In fact, he only exists when I'm with you. Luna looked down at the trophy in her hands. If we're going to try again, it has to be different. Total honesty, I promise. And slow. No more surprises like finding out my boyfriend owns the company I work for. Alexander laughed. Fair enough. Can I start by taking you to dinner? Somewhere simple, where I can just be Alex? You can, Luna smiled, but only if you promise me one thing. Anything. If you lie about anything, no matter how small, I'll throw this trophy at your head. I accept the terms. At that moment, a photographer appeared out of nowhere. Luna, can you pose with the award for? He stopped when he saw Alexander. Mr. Stone, what a surprise. The flash went off before either of them could react. Great, Luna muttered. Tomorrow will be in every newspaper. With the headline, Billionaire CEO and Young Entrepreneur, Miami's New Couple? Alexander suggested. Does that bother you? After months of hiding my feelings, Alexander took her hand. I'm ready to admit publicly that I'm in love with the most amazing woman in Miami. Luna blushed. In that case, Mr. Stone, I accept the dinner invitation. And for the first time in months, they both smiled for real. 6 months after the entrepreneur's event, Luna was sitting at their favorite Italian restaurant, the same small place where they had their first date after reconciling. Alexander was strangely nervous, fiddling with the napkin and dropping a fork on the floor. Alex, are you okay? Luna asked, laughing. You look like you swallowed a live bird. I'm fine, he answered way too loudly, making other customers turn to look. Perfectly normal. Why wouldn't I be? Luna narrowed her eyes. Because you just put salt in your wine and sugar on your salad. Alexander looked at his plate and realized the culinary disaster he had created. Luna, he suddenly stood up, almost knocking over the chair. I need to tell you something. Oh my God, you're breaking up with me? Luna's eyes widened. I knew it. I'm tired of pretending I like opera. No. Alexander laughed nervously. It's the opposite. He got down on one knee right there in the middle of the restaurant, pulling a small box from his pocket. The whole restaurant stopped to watch. Luna Martinez, Alexander said, his voice trembling, you changed my life. You taught me that being rich means nothing if you don't have someone real to share it with. I want to build a real life with you, a true life with arguments about who forgot to buy milk and fights over which movie to watch on Sunday. Luna was speechless. Will you marry me? He opened the box, revealing a delicate, simple ring, nothing flashy. Alexander Stone, Luna said, tears in her eyes. You're asking me to marry you in the middle of a cheap Italian restaurant with an orchestra of forks clattering on plates as the soundtrack? I am. It's the most perfect thing you could have done, she smiled. Yes! The restaurant exploded in applause. The owner appeared with a bottle of house champagne, which was clearly just bought from the corner store, and even the cook came out to congratulate the couple. But Alex, Luna said once the excitement had calmed down, no giant wedding with 500 guests, I don't even know, okay? What do you want? Your backyard, family, close friends, and a party that feels like a crazy family gathering. Perfect. Alexander smiled. Exactly what I wanted. 3 months later, Alexander's mansion garden was decorated with simple lights and wildflowers. Luna had insisted on doing part of the decoration herself, which resulted in flower arrangements that looked like they were made by an excited child, but had a unique charm. Luna, are you sure about this dress? Sophia asked, helping her get ready. There's still time to change into something more princess-like. Sophia, this dress is perfect. Luna looked at herself in the mirror. It was simple, elegant, and made her look beautiful without seeming like a costume. I don't want to look like a wedding cake doll. In the garden, Alexander was visibly nervous, fixing his tie for the 10th time. Mr. Stone, Marcus said, you need to relax. You look like you're about to faint. What if she changes her mind? What if she realizes she could do better? Sir, Miss Luna loves you. Stop overthinking. The music started, and Luna appeared, accompanied by Sophia, since she had no father to walk her down the aisle. Alexander saw her, and all his worries disappeared. Wow, he whispered. The officiant, a friendly pastor Luna had met at the neighborhood church, began the ceremony. Dear friends, we are here to celebrate the love between Luna and Alexander, who met in a rather, let's say, unusual way. Laughter rippled through the small crowd. Alexander, would you like to say your vows? Alexander took a deep breath. Luna, when I met you, you were literally running away from a cockroach, and I fell in love at that very moment with someone brave enough to jump into a stranger's arms. Luna laughed, tears in her eyes. You taught me that true love isn't about impressing, it's about being accepted. I promise to love you on the days you wake up beautiful and on the days you look like you fought with a blender. I promise to be honest, even when the truth is that I ate the last slice of pizza that was yours. Luna? Said the pastor. Alexander. Luna wiped her tears. You taught me that second chances exist for those who have the courage to truly ask for forgiveness. I promise to love you both when you're the powerful CEO and when you're Alex who gets scared of tiny cockroaches. And I promise never to run away again without talking first. If anyone has any objection to this union, the pastor began. A voice came from the back of the garden. I do. Everyone turned tense. It was Victoria, dressed more simply than usual for her. Alexander braced for drama, but Victoria raised her hands. I object only to the fact that it took this long to happen, she said with a genuine smile. Luna, Alexander, I want to apologize. For everything. I did terrible things out of jealousy and immaturity. Luna and Alexander looked at each other, surprised. I've spent these months in therapy and doing volunteer work, trying to become a better person. You both deserve all the happiness in the world. Victoria walked closer and handed them a small gift. A toaster, she said, smiling. For the real life you're about to build together. Luna laughed and hugged Victoria. Thank you, truly. The rest of the ceremony was perfect. The Stone Industries staff showed up in full force, celebrating as if it were a family wedding. A year later, Luna was at the Luna Marketing Solutions office, now officially partnered with Stone Industries, creating a small business incubator when she felt a familiar pain. Alexander, she shouted. He came running from the next room. What is it? Acid attack? Earthquake? Alien invasion? Contraction, Luna said calmly. Alexander turned pale. Contraction? Now? But the baby isn't due until next week. Apparently the baby didn't get the memo. Luna laughed, grabbing her hospital bag. On the way to the hospital, Alexander drove like he was running from the police, calling everyone he knew. Marcus, cancel everything. The baby's coming. No, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl yet. Call the doctor. No, call all the doctors. Alex, breathe, said Luna, calmer than her husband. Women have been having babies for thousands of years, but none of them were my wife. 12 hours later, Luna was holding a perfect baby girl in her arms, while Alexander cried more than the child. "She's perfect," Luna whispered. "Just like her mother," Alexander said, kissing his wife's forehead. 2 years later, little Tessa was playing in the garden when she started yelling, "Mommy, there's a bug." Luna ran outside and saw a little cockroach walking in the grass. Tessa was pointing at it, but without fear. "It's not dangerous, sweetheart," said Luna, laughing. "Actually, it was a cockroach like this that brought Mommy and Daddy together." Alexander came out, picked Tessa up, and looked at the cockroach. "You know what?" he said, hugging Luna with his free arm. "It was the best scare of my life." "Why?" "Because it led me to you. And to this." He pointed to the house, to Tessa, to the life they had built together. "The best love I've ever known." Luna kissed him while Tessa laughed, and the cockroach calmly went on its way. Sometimes, the best happy endings start in the most unexpected places. Even in a stranger's arms, running from a cockroach. What did you think of the story? Do you also have a fear of cockroaches? Leave your opinion in the comments. Rate this story from 0 to 10. What score would you give? Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to keep up with all our stories, and take a look at more moving stories by clicking here on the final screen.